I got quite a few projects I want to work on this week, plus a few surprises along the way, so we're just going to get right into it. So we got a box here.
Yeah, today we're unboxing
A part from an antique old car, but these parts used to be used on the Carnival ride that we're working on. So I found one of these on eBay. We're going to have a look at it and see if this is going to work out for us.
I see something.
Yeah.
It's the Carnival part.
This is supposed to look like an exhaust port. Cars used to have 3 of these on each car on the side. This was from a 1955 Buick, which is a car from a long time ago. So we need to either figure out how to copy that or
clean it or buy it.
Yeah, but they're expensive and we need a lot of them.
Yeah.
We need like 15 of them, and well, because there's 5 rockets and there's 3 on each rocket.
That's a rocket?
Yeah.
Where's the tip of the rocket?
Well, it needs a lot of parts yet.
Oh,
Yeah. But they called them rockets. It doesn't look very much like a rocket.
I know.
Yeah.
You know rocket?
Yeah.
What?
All right. So we got to figure out what we're gonna do with those.
Very cool. Yeah.
So I've shown these before. This is an electrical cabinet. I got a few of these at the last job that I was out on for my day job. These were going to get thrown out, so I scarfed them up. I think they're going to be perfect as control cabinets for the Carnival rides. There's probably a few holes in them we'll have to fill that aren't going to be used, but for the most part, these are good heavy-duty electrical cabinets. They're Hoffman enclosures, and they're really expensive when they're new. So I think we're just going to go in here and clean them out, because there's a lot of stuff in them that we don't need, meaning all of it. All the left was wire away, some DIN rail, and a bunch of fuse holders. There's not as much in this one. Maybe I could take the whole panel out. That'll lay flat. Get this taken apart. That block might be worth keeping. So here's a bit of a surprise. I'm out of town for work. I'm down in Alabama, and I found out today that there's a carnival about half an hour away from where I'm staying. It's over in Jasper, Alabama. I checked it out. I believe it's called Fun Time Shows. I checked out their equipment list online, and they've got some cool stuff like a Cobra. I believe this is a smaller carnival though, so it's hard to say how much of that stuff they'll be bringing along. But we're gonna run over there and check it out. It beats sitting in a hotel room all night. So Wisdom Rides did a complete overhaul on this Cobra a few years ago, and they put their Viper seats on it. I always prefer to see rides kept as original as possible, but I like what they did with this one. Fun Time Shows seems to run quite a few pieces of old Irely Aircraft Company equipment, and it all looks really good. Not exactly sure of the manufacturer of this Hurricane, but we're going to guess it's Dartron Industries. I want to thank Isaac Schaefer for helping me come up with the manufacturers on some of these rides. And if I got any of them wrong, let me know down in the comments. There's quite a few of these rides I'd like to do setup videos on, so hopefully I can find examples of them closer to home and get permission to record them. Fun Time Shows actually owns quite a few pieces of Irely equipment. They've got the Rockaplane, the Rollaplane, the Loopaplane, the Spider. Up near me, Knoebels will be adding a Rockaplane this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Somehow I missed getting footage of this Loopaplane in action. I don't know how that happened. I thought I had got it. So I was really impressed with Fun Time Shows. They've got some classic equipment, which I love, and it was all in really nice shape. It's the third one of these. See if this one holds any secrets. A lot of sawdust. They went with straight screws on this one. The other panel was made with self-tapping screws. I'm gonna guess this is an earlier version. The thing I find interesting about stuff like this is that at one point in time, when the guy who was building this was building it for the factory, this was probably a really important project, and it was probably some big priority that this get done. And now that guy's retired, and this is all considered to be surplus garbage. I should probably just take these to the car wash. Okay, one more to do. Last one. This one's a big mess. Still has a breakout board in it. That's it. So I've said it before, when you have a local company that's willing to do laser cutting for you, you end up finding a whole lot of excuses to use laser cut parts. And I just had them make me these circles so that I can use them to repair those electrical cabinets. And we're going to have Scott tack these in an upcoming episode. Hopefully get them all ground down and painted, and with any luck at all, we won't even know that there was ever a hole there. So if you want to catch all that, be sure to click that subscribe button. So now that they're all cleaned up, I have this wall of precariously stacked boxes. I don't really have a good place to store them for now, so I guess they'll just have to stay there.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Ride of the Week. Each week we scour the internet to bring you a different classic ride that's fallen on hard times. We'll explore rides that have entertained generations of carnival goers and are now looking for a new lease on life.
So I'm introducing a new segment this week for rides that we find out there on the internet that are in bad need of restoration. And we're starting off this week with this Baby Eli number 6 kiddie wheel. This is a ride that's local to me, and truthfully I would love to add it to the collection and do a full restoration on it sometime in the future. We don't know much about this particular ride. It came out of the Fairfax, Virginia area in the mid-90s, but we can't find a serial number, so we don't know how old it might be. There's only a handful of examples of these out on the web. Here's one that I found. We know that 48 of these were built between 1923 and 1960, so it's somewhere in there. And I'd like to have the opportunity to dig deeper into the history of this one, but for now, it looks like it's going to remain a mystery. The owner wants substantially more than I can afford to pay. So if you got a rich uncle who'd like to donate to the cause, have them get in touch with me and maybe we can rescue this one. This was mounted to a trailer in the 90s, and then the cable drive was also changed to a hydraulic chain drive.
Join us next week for another forgotten ride.
So we've got these steering wheels we made in a previous episode, and I want to get them powder coated, but before I can do that, we need to do a little bit of machining on them and a little bit of grinding to get them cleaned up. I don't want to get into the spokes. I guess about as far as I want to go. I'm really impressed with how true these cast aluminum wheels are running in this lathe. There's hardly any wobble at all. So a month or so back, I did a video on powder coating, and it motivated a friend of mine out in Indiana to set up his own powder coating system. And he attacked it with the same enthusiasm that I tend to attack projects with. He built a rather large oven. It's the kind of oven I would build here if I had room for it in my shop. We're going to take these steering wheels, send them out to him. He can do all four at the same time rather than one at a time like I would have to do. So we'll send them out, get them back in a week or so, and we'll see how they look. So we need to accelerate the speed of this project because later this year, I've got an event where we want to use that rocket. So we're got a deadline. And I've been mapping out the game plan for how we can get this done. I'm going to be sharing it all with you next week. You're not going to want to miss it. So click that link to the left and come along for the ride.